Assalamualaikum. My name is Nur Alamansha binti Abdul Halim and my matrix number is 068023F1043. So today I will be presenting about professional ethics case 3. You are a partner in a 3-partner firm of accountants. The firm generates fee of approximately Rm 1.4 million per annum. Within your portfolio of clients is company A, which has been very successful since it first came to your firm 5 years ago. It now has an annual turnover in excess of Rm 15 million. Company A generates annually recurring fees for the practice of approximately Rm 50,000, of which approximately Rm 35,000 is in respect of audit work and 15,000 relates to routine tax calculation and preparation of the corporation tax return. Your firm has a separate tax department which performs the tax compliance work in respect of Company A. The company's financial year end is December. Last year, the audit work commenced in June and the audit report was finally signed in August. By the end of August, the tax return had been submitted to the taxation authority and the firm's invoice had been issued to Company A. In September, a significant customer of Company A went into receivership and Company A suffered a large bad debt. The directors approached you immediately and were very open about the company's short-term cash flow problem. Therefore, you agreed that payment of the firm's invoice of Rm 50,000 could be spread over 10 months commencing in October. Company A also needs the support of its bank, and in December, it was negotiating a modest increase in its overdraft facility. It is now early March, and the bank has requested audited financial statement by the end of the month. The audit is well underway, and you have promised the director of Company A that the bank will have the audited accounts on time. The planning of the audit was performed by an audit senior and reviewed by the audit manager for the assignment, in whom you have a great deal of confidence. Due to the pressure of work, you did not review the audit plan in detail before the audit team commenced the year-end audit work, and so you decide to review and sign off on that section of the audit file now. Secara ringkasnya, firma audit mempunyai masalah ketidakbebasan dan kompetensi profesional. Firma itu menerima bayaran tertunggak dan memberi tempoh kredit lanjutan kepada klien. Ini mewujudkan ancaman kepentingan diri. Auditor mungkin berat sebelah kerana takut kehilangan klien atau bayaran. Tambah pula, rakan kongsi berjanji menyiapkan audit tanpa semakan plan audit yang betul, menjejaskan kualiti audit dan penjagaan wajah. Description of ethical problem. The central ethical dilemma in this situation concerns independence and professional competence. In the first instance, the firm has accepted extended credit terms from the client and has a significant unpaid balance from the previous year. This established a self-interest trait, which suggests that the auditor could unconsciously prioritize the financial relationship to the client over the objectivity required for the audit. The auditor may be too concerned about the potential for losing the client or not being paid, which would compromise their judgment or audit opinion. Secondly, there is a threat to professional competence and due care. By promising to complete the audit without conducting an appropriate review of the audit plan, the partner has possibly failed to fulfill the responsibility of ensuring the audit work is performed appropriately and in compliance with professional standards. Such failure would potentially result in deficiencies in the audit, the possibility of undetected misstatement, and the issuance of a misleading audit report. Moreover, the principles of integrity and professional behavior are jeopardized in this way because the actions of the auditor have the potential to mislead the client or bank into believing the audit was conducted diligently when in fact it was not. This combination of financial dependence alongside inadequate oversight creates a lack of confidence in the audit process. Hence, here the ethical dilemma is about balancing the business interests and the firm with the responsibility of maintaining professional ethics, independence, and audit quality. Secara ringkasnya, firma audit mempunyai masalah ketidakbebasan dan kompetensi profesional. Firma itu menerima bayaran tertunggak dan memberi tempoh kredit lanjutan kepada klien. Ini mewujudkan ancaman kepentingan diri. Auditor mungkin berat sebelah kerana takut kehilangan klien atau bayaran. Tambah pula, rakan kongsi berjanji menyiapkan audit tanpa semakan plan audit yang betul, menjejaskan kualiti audit dan penjagaan wajah. Identify the affected parties. There is 6 affected parties here. First one is the audit firm and its partner. Threaten professional independence, reputation, and credibility exists if the audit is perceived to be either biased or affected by clients' financial position. The auditor and audit firm may expose themselves to disciplinary action from MIA or a lawsuit if they are found to have compromised ethical standards. The firm's long-term business reputation and trust in the minds of clients potentially suffers. Secondly, is Company A, the client. The directors depend on a credible audit report to secure a bank loan. If the audit has been compromised, their financial statements may not be accurate, leading to bank to either reject their loan or subsequently harm their reputation. If the auditor resigns based on ethics issues, the company may have problems finding another audit firm that will agree to work with the company, worsening the company's financial condition. The third one is the bank and others who lend you money. The bank and other lenders rely heavily on the audited financial statements to make lending and investment decisions. If the audit is not independent, the bank could make a poor lending decision unknowingly, leading to loss for the bank. The fourth is the shareholders and possible investors. These users rely upon the fact that the audited accounts are accurate and can base their decision on them. If they can rely on the audit opinion, it will be hard to regain the user's confidence in the company or its financial performance. For the second last is regulatory bodies, MIA, SSM. If a firm's independence is questioned, it can lead to the regulatory body examining or even sanctioning an auditor or firm. This could taint the entire public's image of the audit profession. And lastly, the public and the audit profession. The public expects the auditor to be ethical and to act independently. If an auditor case, whether due to financial interest or otherwise, there will be a lasting stain on the audit profession as a whole. Evaluate each solution. There is 4 solutions. The first one is proceed with the audit as normal and produce the report. The advantages are to satisfy the client and allow for a proper and timely completion of the report for the bank submission. For the disadvantage, our independence is clearly compromised with a higher risk of unethical and professional breaches. This would be unethical and not permitted per MIA by the law. Secondly, demand complete payment of all fees due prior to conducting the audit. The advantages are severing financial dependency, restore the firm's independence, and for the disadvantages are the client may be unable to pay for cash flow purpose and could lose the client and take the relationship damage. Third is continue the engagement with considerable ethical protection. The advantages are allows the audit to be continued while also addressing the independence threat. For the disadvantages are there may still be a perception of bias in the eyes of outside stakeholders. And lastly, withdrawal from the audit engagement. Advantages of it are completely eliminates any ethical threats to the firm and its integrity, and the disadvantages are could damage the relationship with the client and result in a loss of fees for the firm. Select and justify the best solution. The best solution is continue the engagement with considerable ethical protection. It is because it communicates the situation to all partners and document the nature of the unpaid fees and extend the payment plan. Implement an independent quality review by another partner or senior auditor not involved in the engagement. Disclose the situation to those charged with governance and document their acknowledgement. Enhance the audit procedure, focusing on areas that may be affected by the client's financial difficulties. Closely monitor the payment arrangement to ensure it doesn't influence audit judgment. Fundamental principle of ethic MIA by law. There is 6 types of it that I will be presenting. First, integrity, being honest and candid in all professional interaction. The auditor shall not knowingly mislead or withhold information from their clients. Second, objectivity, an auditor must remain impartial, free of conflict of interest, and free of undue influence from the client. 3. Professional competence and due care. The auditor shall maintain an appropriate level of knowledge and skill to achieve the required standard in performing their role and to act diligently. 4. Confidentiality. The auditor must protect client information and not use information for personal or professional advantage. 5. Professional behavior. The auditor must adhere to all laws and regulations and abstain from any action that would discredit the profession. 6. Independence is being independent in mind or free from any risks to the public. Key consideration in resolving the dilemma. First, the relevance of the unpaid fees and whether that creates a self-interest threat. Second, whether there are sufficient safeguards to reduce the threat to an acceptable level. The third one, the implication to the quality of the audit, whether the audit team can maintain objectivity. The fourth one, the expectation of the public and regulators while considering transparency. The fifth one, the reputational and legal risks to the firm if independence is brought into question. And the last one, the timelines and accuracy of the audit report. Completing an audit in a hurry is not sufficient evidence of exercising due care. Course of action. Talk to partner at the firm and formally assess the threat to independence. Document all relevant information, including outstanding fees and if and how they will be paid. Report the issue to those charged with governance as well as disclose any threats. Have a partner not involved in the audit conduct a review of the engagement. Increase supervision of the audit, including any testing in identified higher risk areas. Do not promise the client you will complete audit work when facing unreasonable audit timeline. Conclusion. This case illustrates the careful balance between commercial interests and professional ethics. The primary obligation of the auditor is independence, integrity, and due care, notwithstanding any financial pressure on the auditor regardless of the request made by clients. Agree to delayed payment and undo the professional due care when conducting the audit may be commercially convenient in the short term. However, the overall damage to the public's trust in the audit profession may be irreparable. The auditor may also respond to the threats and employ the necessary safeguard while maintaining the ethical responsibility to protect the confidence in the audit profession and the integrity of the financial statements produced for stakeholders. Secara ringkasnya, auditor mesti mengutamakan etika dan profesional berbanding kepentingan perniagaan. Bayaran tertunggak tidak boleh menjejaskan keputusan audit. Tindakan yang beretika bukan sahaja melindungi firma tetapi juga mengekalkan kepercayaan orang awam terhadap profesion perakaunan.